Hi, everybody. I want to welcome Murry Penner to the interview today. I want to thank him for his time. Murry owns M. Penner, fabulous luxury men's store in Houston, Texas. And, one of the things that really impressed me about Murry was during COVID, he really showed he really showed that he was a leader, a commander. Commanders command. They show confidence. They're decisive. They are compassionate to their people and their community. All of the things that Murry is skills and traits that he possesses, but really got magnified. And the things that he did during COVID have served him well. And it's a reminder that we have to be working in the future and in our business at the same time, undeterred. And Murry did that exceptionally well. And the results speak for themselves. If you look at the period of March 22 through February of 2023, that 12-month period, it's the last comparative period would be March 19 through March 2020, March of 2019 through March of 2022. If you look at the comparison of that period, Murry's business is up 70%. His cash margin is up 50%. His current GMROI is up from 2.1 to 4.1. His turn went from 1.48 to almost 4, or excuse me, almost 3. These are amazing statistics that just don't express the rebound, but reflect continued improvement. And these improvements happen because of the decisions that Murry made during COVID. By the way, he's also up 24% for the year, so business hasn't stopped. So congratulations, Murry. And I guess the first question I'm going to have for you is, what was it that you did during COVID that allowed you to reap the rewards that you're receiving today?
Well, first of all, thank you, Marc, for inviting me to do this. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Well, I admit, by the way, that it took me maybe a week or two to gain the courage to be decisive when COVID came around, but we certainly did have a lot of time to think about things. And I think we sat down and we realized we were closed, and we realized we had no income. And we have people here who depend on our business and the work that they do. They don't really depend on me as much as they depend on what they really do themselves. And they didn't have an opportunity to work either. We focused on them. We focused on our community, and we focused on how we could come through COVID and out the other end in a stronger position with our landlord, and with how we operated the business and how we could sort of shift the dynamic of, in some ways, who we were working for as we came out of this. So first thing was our people, and they've always been, I've always said our business is a three-legged stool. We have, without one of the legs, you can't sit on the chair. One of the legs obviously is our people, and our vendors obviously is another leg, and our customers are the third leg. So we have to pay attention to all of them in the same way. So we use the money that we got from the government to enhance what they were getting paid during this time. And we put our salespeople on a high rate of commission, so that even though we weren't selling as much, they were still getting close to what they were used to making. Bottom line was, we just made sure they understood we weren't going anywhere. And we were gonna not only survive, but we were starting to put in plans to pivot, to change, and to grow, and to be something new on the other side of this thing. And we were due for that, quite frankly, before COVID. We were already due for that. And so some of these ideas were already there. Yeah, another thing that we did was we focused, actually, before we did anything else, the first thing we did was we focused on our community and our best customers. And this was something that a lot of stores did, but I think we jumped on it pretty early. And frankly, we just reached out and asked them to buy gift certificates. And this was kind of crazy. Here we are, we're asking them to give us money, and nobody knows what the future holds. Nobody knows if we're going to be in business or if anybody else is going to be in business, or how many of us, honestly and sadly, we're even going to survive. I mean, it was a very tough emotional and business situation, and we had a tremendous outpouring of support in that regard, to the point where, I mean, it was shocking how many people responded to that and gave us the money that we needed to continue operating, and also to bring our people back and do some of the other things that we needed to do, including rebuild a website, that kind of thing. So we learned right there what we thought we always knew, and that was that our customers were very loyal to us, and that we meant a lot to our community. We have been in business almost 50 years. So we did kind of know that, and they showed us in their actions, and it was quite moving, and something, one of the things in my career that I will never forget that happened. And when we got back going, they'd call on the phone, they'd ask us for something, they'd buy something, we deliver it. We did all the things that we always do service wise. We just altered
But
it.
that helped validate your confidence in your business, which was great. And you were obviously generous with your people, to the point where, you use the money, but just didn't give them the money you were using. You added to it, so your people had a comfort level. So you showed a lot of confidence in your people. You cared about them, and you understood that your community supported you. But in addition to that, you made some pretty strategic decisions that are benefiting to you today, one with your landlord, one with your vendors. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So I think in the near term of the moment, in the immediate moment, obviously, very early on, we let our landlord know that we weren't going to be able to continue to pay the rent that was due in our lease. And very early on, we told them that we would, between the time we closed and the end of the year, we would pay them 10% of our sales, whatever they were. And unlike a lot of the other people in our center and other people that I know, we actually did pay that every single month. We paid them something every month. This was not easy to do. I mean, I would have rather have, I owed a lot of money to vendors, and I really wanted to take care of my people, most importantly. So, but we did this, and this allowed us to create a situation where we were able to, through a long, arduous, but ultimately productive process, to reconfigure our lease into a situation where it was worth it for us to stay in business. Because had we been forced to stay with that lease, we would have probably not gone forward.
Right.
We would have been working for them and them only. And so while they weren't overly eager to get involved with this, we were able to, I believe, through our goodwill and the decision to pay them something every single month, I think went a long way to get us where we got. We also went out and we found 2 more locations and made 2 other deals that were ready to sign. One was really ready to sign, and we told them we're leaving.
Right. So I think what's really the message here that's really resonates with me, Murry, is, you were confident in your future. You were confident that, there was going to be, another side of what the world looked like post-COVID. And you didn't stop working towards that future, even in a time of huge uncertainty, and put yourself in a position to win when, as we've all found out since, when the world did turn around, right?
That's right. And we never did lose confidence in the fact that we were going to survive and thrive and change. Sometimes time passes and you lose the lessons you learned before. And even though you told yourself before, I'm never going to forget that again, guess what? I have too much inventory, or it's too much this or not enough that. And one thing that stuck with me during COVID is I'm actually going to not only relearn the lessons that I already knew, I'm not going to forget them. And one of the big decisions that we made was that we were not going to change what we stood for, even though it was at first for a year, even, you know, we were thinking, well, what can we do to broaden our audience? What can we do to bring more people in here to make our store more accessible? You know, we are a high-end store by and large. Just bringing in more popular priced merchandise or widely, more wide appeal merchandise never worked for us. So we didn't go there. In fact, we went the opposite way. We made a decision to approach, one of the top men's luxury lines in the industry, Brunello Cucinelli, who we had sold for many, many years, and who we had stopped working with when they opened their own store in Houston. And I said, Karen and I, my wife, my partners, we said, I think now's the time that we should go back and get this. And I don't really care that they have a store here, because I really do believe coming out of COVID, we have the opportunity to differentiate ourselves from everybody else that we compete with. Not saying we're the only store in town or anything like that, but we made a decision not to go wide. We made a decision to I hate the word double down because it's just so overused, but
you leaned into who you really are.
We leaned into who we really are, and that's exactly right. And it has paid off very well. And we did a lot more experimenting with new lines than we had done in many years. Some of them stuck, some of them we got rid of fast. We thought they were good, didn't turn out so good, we left them. I think something that you've always espoused, Mark, about trying new things, taking your little bit of your budget, experimenting. If you fail, and you move on. You don't stick around with it more than you should. And we've learned that from you in a lot of ways. And we did that. And so we've got some very unique product in the store that I think has also elevated us. We also talked all the time with our customers during COVID. We called them all the time. We would go on walks, and we would have Zoom meetings with our people, for example, twice a week, and said, who did you call today? We're all on our walks. We're all in our gardens. We're all doing that. I mean, it was a fast moving, fast pace. We're trying to get the government money. We're trying to stay in touch with our customers. We're working on new products. We built our website out, in 6 weeks or 8 weeks during COVID. It's been very successful in terms of opening another window to our store, which is what we wanted. We didn't want to become the next Amazon at all. But we're elevating that again right now. I just think that it opened our eyes. It gave us a fresh start. And we were able to get our people to come along, mainly because as always, we told them how much we valued them. And we didn't just do it with words. And
yeah, I think that, you talk about doubling down, but you've always understood who you are, and you've always been able to express that to your community and your people. And you didn't confuse anybody. M. Penner stayed who they were. One of the fun things you did is during COVID, when people couldn't come in the store, you had a parking lot fashion show, and people showed up. People were in the parking lots in their cars. And I watched it live on Facebook. It was great. And you're basically sending a message that we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're going to figure out a way to make this work, no matter what. And at the same time, you made decisions on your lease, on your product, on your people to ensure that you would be around post-COVID. So you reap the rewards of the bounce, but you're still reaping the rewards because your traffic continues to increase, your customer base continues to increase, and your following and your metrics continue to demonstrate and prove that out. So, my hat's really off to you and Karen and your whole team. I think you've even added staff since COVID, which is also wonderful. So I think that the lesson for retailers is you have to work in the now. You have to deal with what what the daily crisis, the daily issues of the day are, and a lot of those are just as bad as they were before COVID. We talked about that the other day. But you also have to have an eye on what your business is going to look like 3 to 5 years from now, and pay attention and make those decisions. They don't have to be huge, but you have to make those decisions to ensure your success.
Well, since you mentioned real quickly that parking lot fashion show we did, the only credit really that I can take for that is that I did everything in my power to stop it. And because I thought it was a crazy idea. It wasn't my idea. It was actually my people's idea. It was the guys on the floor. It was their idea. They put it all together. They did all the work along with Karen. And the day comes and I'm watching this thing and I'm going, wow, this is awesome. This is a great idea. And we are always been an event driven store, but I really think as a result of that experience, we push events even harder and more often, and understand that we can have more fun with it. It just doesn't have to be a trunk show, even though ultimately that's what it is. Really, it emboldened me to embolden my people to keep coming up with stuff like that, because after all, they know a lot. They are good at what they do, and they've been doing it for a long time. And that was an eye-opener for me. And ever since then, they have been involved in all the events that we do.
Great.
We've got a Kentucky Derby event coming up. I think we're betting on all the horses. We've got this. I just sit back and watch and marvel about last year. It was very successful.
Good leaders listen. So
yes, this good leader had a hard time learning that earlier on in his career, but it is so true. You don't have to do everything that everybody wants you to do, but you're not going to come up with as many great ideas unless you hear one or two from somebody else. I think at the end of the day, we have to have relationships with everybody, with our people, with our customers, with our vendors. We have to have new customers, and we have to change. And if we don't have any one of those three, we die. We don't change, we die. We don't have relationships, we die. And we don't get new customers, we die. And every time I feel myself afflicted with some kind of doubt or forgetting about one of those three things, I tell myself that.
Right. Well, thank you for your time today. I mean, again, my hat's off to you and your people, to Karen, and how hard you work through all this. And just wishing you much continued good health and success. Thanks, Marc.
Well, Mark, if I can say so, if I have one more minute to say so, what I would say is that all of this and that we have been through for those years and many years before has taught me that there are other people in my life and in our business that we need to listen to and to talk to and learn from. And you have been, and you and your company have been there with us the whole way. And I really think that is something that I know everybody who works with you guys really appreciates it. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your support and your friendship. And I just couldn't be happier for, your ongoing success for you.
Happy for you too, my friend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.